This is Original Six.
Happy Wednesday. What is going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us and listening to the Original Six podcast, the only podcast, I think I've run out of these, the only podcast you should be listening to every Wednesday about the Maple Leafs. Ryan Savine, as always, joined by my esteemed, well-regarded, very rich, soon-to-be rich co-hosts, Zach Mullin, Paul Ananitis. Boys, what is going on?
I'm fired up as usual.
There we go. I missed that last week. I missed that.
Yeah.
I am also fired up.
Hey,
Wow.
there we go. He says he's fired up. Now he has to say he's on the potty.
No.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wanted to know what you were fired up for.
Well, the Leafs had a very good week. And a lot of good things have happened. A lot of good stories. And hopefully they can continue that this week.
Yeah. Episode 16, boys. Today's Wednesday, May 5th. Here's something interesting. Episode 16. Who wears number 16 for the Maple Leafs? Mitch Marner. What is today? Mitch Marner's birthday. Coincidence? I think not.
We need to have him on the podcast.
Illuminati confirmed?
Nope.
Yeah. I'm here for it. All right, before we get into things, Paul, we had our third first goal predictions correct on Instagram this week. If you'd like to do the honors.
Yeah, so shout out to one of my buddies, Ilya Kokoro to be exact. He got the first goal prediction right for the second game against Vancouver. He got Matthews and Pearson correct. So shout out to you. And whoever else wants to be shouted out, just keep commenting on these posts, put your first goal predictions, and hopefully you can get them right and get a shout out on the potty.
Facts. All right, some more Instagram stuff. We had Survey Sunday a few days ago.
Woo.
So the first question asked was, do you think Rasmus Sandin deserves a spot in the starting lineup come playoffs? 91% of people said yes, fam. And 9% said no, he's not ready. The next question was, do you think Adam Brooks has won Pierre Engvall's spot in the lineup? 87% of people said yeah. And this one was a type your own answer, not just clicking. But when Zach Hyman comes back from injury, who are you taking out of the lineup? And there seemed to be quite a few varieties. Someone here says, hate to say it, but Mikheyev. Someone said Simmonds. Someone said, sadly, Jumbo Joe. So that tells me Leafs Nation is pretty split. Albeit it's a pretty small percentage of Leafs Nation, but split nonetheless.
Yeah, for sure. But we'll see what happens, I guess. See what Keefe does. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Jumbo Joe. I know no one wants to see it because he's like a veteran. But I mean, does a 41-year-old like really make sense on such a young, talented lineup? Maybe not. But on the other hand, would it just be like a slap to the face to have Jumbo Joe out of the lineup during the playoffs when he's probably at the end of his career and also searching for a cup? Probably.
I think it would be.
Yeah, probably would be.
Tough decisions for sure.
It's a good thing we are not the ones making that decision.
Exactly.
All right, let's move into week in review. The Master is back. I correctly predicted 3-0-1. So your boy's back. I don't know. I think that's like my fifth correct record prediction. It was a good week overall. 2 games against Vancouver, 2 games against Montreal. We'll do our quick usual breakdown. So Zach, I'll throw it to you for the first game.
Yeah, so first game was a 4-1 win over the Montreal Canadiens in Montreal. We started it off with, wow, what a huge surprise, a power play goal. Oh my goodness. Those are far and few between. Oh, goodness. Anyway, so Nylander had a really nice tap in. They had some good cycles going on the power play. Marner set up Nylander for a good tap in. It's his 15th of the season. And then Matthews scored probably on highlight reels everywhere. Ridiculous. Knocks the puck out of the air past the Habs defenseman, picks it up and just rips it. The play came out of nowhere. It was like a broken play. It was just the speed and skill of Matthews that caused that to happen. So that was great. Nick Foligno getting another assist on that goal. And that was Matthews' 35th of the season. Jake Muzzin scored a goal from the point in the second period. Thornton had a great screen in front and went off a Montreal defender. Nick Suzuki scored for Montreal to make it 3-1. He kind of came in, no one take him. He had a lot of space, and then he just ripped it past Campbell. Couldn't really blame Campbell on that one. And then Brooks scored off a turnover in a miscommunication with the Habs goalie behind the net, and Spezza sent it for Brooks to tap into the open net. So it was a 4-1 win. Montreal actually outshot us 33-29, but our power play was 1 for 3, and their power play was 0 for 2. So a good win overall against possibly a first-round matchup.
Facts.
Possibly. All right, Paul, you're going to take the main parts of the sandwich here. Zach and I get the bread, but you'll take the in-between.
Yes. I get the 2 Vancouver games.
Yeah.
So I think those 2 wins were very convincing, nice wins. First game, 4-1 win. And obviously just well-rounded. We outshot them 24-16. Kind of a low shooting game for the Leafs, like 24, which is surprising because 24 is not a bad number, but wasn't bad overall. Nylander started off the scoring, giveaway at the blue line by the Canucks, and then just a nice shot under the pad for Nylander. And then Matthews doing Matthews things. Snipes one, like usual. Yep. And then on a 2-on-1 with Marner. And then about 40 seconds later, if I'm not mistaken, Engvall scores the exact same way. A nice pass from Brooks and just a rip over Holtby's shoulder. And when we thought that Riddick was having a good game onto a shutout, Miller scored a kind of weird goal, shoots it, and Riddick sticks his pad out, hits the inside of his pad and goes in. Kind of unlucky, but overall, Riddick had a fantastic game. And then Holtby decides to give Marner an absolute gift of a goal in the last 50 seconds, passes it right to Kerfoot, who passes it to Marner in front and just taps it in. And I think we had a great game. I think Riddick played really well. He stepped it up, except for that one goal, but honestly, he had a fantastic game with a .938 save percentage. And the second game against Vancouver, also another good convincing win, 5-1 dub. Campbell in at this time, who I think also played fantastic, .963 save percentage, 27 shots on him. I lied, 27. Yeah, that's right. I didn't lie. I was actually telling the truth.
Wow.
But
Truther.
how it started off, nobody would have guessed. Just kidding. Matthews scored 2 goals in a row, which is kind of obvious because Matthews leads the league in most first goals to start a game. If you didn't know that, listen to last week's episode.
#plug. Yes.
And then just nice play from Marner and Matthews. Nice shot over who was in at that game? Demko's shoulder. And then again, Matthews just comes down and scores another one. And Brooks and Galchenyuk getting on the scoreboard, which is nice to see different guys actually scoring, especially Galchenyuk was on a little bit of a slump. Gets a nice rebound in front to put it in. And then our favorite Leaf ever, Jumbo Joe, scores an empty net.
I thought we were going to say Freddie Gauthier.
No.
Favorite Leaf ever?
He is the GOAT.
See, Zach knows what's up.
Not the GOAT we want.
The GOAT we need.
We're all thinking of. Yeah, the GOAT we need. Yes, I knew Ryan was going to say
I'm not the
like
hero
that.
this city needs. I'm the hero this city deserves.
I set him up for that one.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, another good convincing dub. And Ryan, you could take the only loss of the week, but we still got a point out of it, so not that bad.
I'll take the L on this one. It was a weird game. Seemed like a low effort, kind of like nonchalant game. I don't know if that was just the way I watched it. I mean, we had good scoring chances. Like it wasn't a boring game. It had its moments. Riley had a goal on a point shot. Toffoli scored a beautiful power play goal, fed from, I think it was Suzuki. That was gorgeous. We should take notes on how to score power play goals like that. Matthews had one of the nicest tips I've seen in a long time in front of the net. Man, he's so dangerous from anywhere. Then Deneau tied it with a minute left or less than a minute. That was a tough one. It kind of like from what I saw, it's hard to really know. A lot of people thought it had originally gone through Campbell's legs. It seemed like it squeaked through his skate and the post as he was trying to hug the post. It is what it is. Goes to overtime. We have our chances, but not before, Montreal decides to play keep away and not let Matthews have a puck.
That was hilarious.
That was
was funny.
That was the worst
was laughing.
overtime ever.
It was bad. And then everyone gets up off their seats. Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, 2-0. It's like, okay, it's done. It's done. It's over. Like, celebrate now, shake everyone's hands, pass. Like, did they even get a shot off? I don't know.
No.
A lot of people saying Matthews should have just shot it when he got the puck first. Mitch should have just thought it because Allen probably expected Matthews to shoot it at some point. They didn't score. Play goes the other way. Caulfield ends it because, of course, he does. And we lost. Takeaways. I don't think the Leafs game was anything special. Decent effort. Could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot worse. Power play still struggling. Went 0 for 3. I thought Campbell played fantastic. Came up with a lot of big saves. Wouldn't really fault him on the late third period goal. You gotta let a goalie make a mistake. You're not gonna tear him apart for that one. And that was it. Like, I don't know. To me, it just like wasn't anything special of a game.
No, I didn't think so either. Like, I didn't think we played that well. I mean, getting the point out of it was nice. Campbell definitely saved our butts a lot of times with some key saves, which is what we've needed. Unfortunately, we just couldn't seal the deal for him in overtime with that Matthews Marner 2-0 and then Tavares hitting the post.
Yeah.
But
it is what it is.
But we still got a point out of it.
That's true, which brings our point total to 72 points on the season. We are 33, 13, and 6. That's a pretty crazy record. If it weren't, like, just think about how excited we'd be in normal years if we started a season. I say start, but like it would be more than halfway over at this point. 33, 13, and 6. And I think the fact that we had that one streak where we lost 6 out of 7, and then the more recent streak where we lost 5 in a row, I think those kind of bring down like the mood of how everyone thinks about our season. But if you just look at 33, 13, and 6, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Especially for the Leafs. That's crazy good.
And imagine we didn't have those streaks of losing and we actually won a couple of those games. It could be even crazier.
Yeah, we could be in like above 35 wins.
Be pretty nuts.
Yeah. So, as we said, 72 points. That is, quick math, 6 points above the second place Edmonton Oilers, who have clinched a playoff spot, and they have one game in hand against us. Interesting development also. The Jets and Canadiens are now tied with 57 points.
Really surprising. Winnipeg has been super trash. They've lost 7 in a row. 2-8-0 in their last 10. Kind of slipping. Really interesting to see if Montreal could actually make like a surprising push for that third place. Really looked like Winnipeg had it locked down, but
I wouldn't even at this point. I wouldn't even say it's surprising. I mean, they're tied. I don't know. Like, I think Winnipeg. This is it's not even a take. Like, you guys will agree, the worst time to play bad hockey.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
Before the playoffs,
right down the stretch. No, terrible.
Connor Hellebuck looks awful.
Not something you'd hear.
He's looked awful lately.
He
Pretty
has.
surprised.
I think the whole Jets team has looked awful lately too, especially when Ehlers went down in his injury. That just was like an even worse downfall.
Basically, ever since they lost to the Leafs twice.
Ever since the Leafs went rent free in Winnipeg's head, they've just been playing trash.
Exactly. All right, moving on to some latest news, some headlines. Sound the alarms. Matthews and Marner didn't score on a 2-1 overtime. Should we just start a rebuild?
Yes, it's
Probably.
over.
It's done.
Get out, Zach.
I saw Leafs Nation freaking out at this, and I'm like,
come on.
It's Matthews and Marner. Like, sure, would have been nice if they scored and Matthews gets his 40th to win the game. Yeah, that's great. How many times are they making mistakes that you're gonna really be pissed? Just let it go.
Not many.
Yeah, and they were on like their strong sides too, which is really difficult when you're trying to get one-timers off on like a 2-0. So I think if they were switched and they could have gotten a one-timer off, would have been a very different story on that 2-0.
It is what it is.
It's a good point, actually.
But we should still rebuild though.
Yeah, just trade them.
Scrap the team.
We'll send Matthews to Arizona.
Yep.
Marner can go back to the Knights.
Just leave the NHL.
Yeah,
Back
just
to
go back to the O.
He gets delegated.
Could you
Yep.
imagine? Oh, he would destroy Junior. Like it wouldn't even be fair.
Dude, he destroyed Junior when he was
actually-
playing. Imagine now.
I actually
Mm.
saw a funny post on Instagram where it was talking about like incentive for NHL teams not to tank and like actually play well. Where I don't know, I think this happens in some European soccer leagues where if you're in like the bottom percentage of the league, you get delegated to a lesser league.
You get relegated to the second
Relegated,
division.
thank you, not delegated. So then I saw someone respond to this. Wow, that was really dumb. I saw someone respond to this like, imagine McDavid's like hurt for a year. The Oilers finished last, and next season McDavid's playing in the OHL.
Wow.
Oh my lord. He'd get 400 points.
That'd be crazy. Good old delegation out here.
Yeah, delegation. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a dumb moment. I think.
All right, you guys getting delegated to.
All right, Paul.
to the-
What's
to the O?
I'll deflect some heat. What's our favorite headline up on the rundown right now?
Matthews has 39 goals,
It's a
worth
lot of
saying.
goals.
and everyone thought he wasn't gonna get 40.
Yeah.
Well, all the Leafs haters, just because they want to hate on the Leafs for no reason. But Matthews will show them what is right, and you know what's right? Him winning the Rocket. I literally forgot the name for a second.
We're doing well today.
Yeah.
In other news, the Leafs sign Kirill the Thrill, but not Kaprizov, Kirill Semyonov to an entry-level deal. Semyonov, 26, skated in 60 games for Avangard Omsk.
I was
In the
waiting for you to
KHL.
actually pronounce that.
26 points in 60 games. So
Not bad.
do you guys think
Not
that's
bad.
another like kind of take a flyer on a player like Barabanov?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing much to lose here, really.
That's true. Realistically, he'll come for the Leafs next year, play like 4 games, not be very good, chill on like the bench or the minors, and then get traded to like one of the worst teams in the league.
And then you'll do really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Sounds like a Leaf trade here and there.
So another big headline. This one had a lot of Leafs Nation, Toronto media kind of stirring. The first Vancouver game of the week. That was the first game we played against the Canucks since Edler had that knee-on-knee hit against Hyman that knocked him out for a bit. He's still out, obviously. Simmonds goes in and he fights Edler. Edler's first career NHL fight.
Are you serious?
Played over 900 games. That was his first fight. I don't even know if I would call it a fight.
Simmons
Yeah.
destroyed him, got him clean in the cheek there.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you guys, because a lot of people have varying opinions on this. Like kind of looking at like the code, like the fighter's code, whatever you want to call it, I'll preface it with this. It didn't seem like Simmonds gave Edler a chance to like decline a fight. He went up to him and dropped his glove. So what's Edler going to do? That's
Yeah.
kind of the preface. So do you
He
think
could have not
Simmonds-
dropped his gloves and gave Simmons a penalty.
Right, but then like it's code. You break the code, right?
Mhm.
Did he have to like pay for what he did in like a hockey sense? Probably. I mean, he got suspended. He served his 2-game suspension. So my question to you is, do you guys think Simmonds went too far? Do you think it would have been better just to go after him with a couple big hits throughout the game? Or is what Simmonds did right? He fought, that was it. The fight was fought, whatever you want to call it. And then the game went on. So what do you guys think? Was it good, bad? I just want to know your takes.
Zach, go first.
Okay. I never want to start talking because I feel like Paul always goes first, so I'll just wait for him to like delegate. But look,
What do you mean,
delegate.
relegate.
Oh, sorry, relegate. Yes, I don't know.
We're gonna switch
proper
those
word
words
is
today.
in this sense. Anyway, I like the fight. I think it made sense in kind of a code. I think if Hyman's not injured, I don't think that fight happens. But Hyman was out for a decent amount of time. It's not like he missed a game and then he came right back. Decent amount of time. Sure, he gets suspended, but this is kind of like hey, if you go after our players, like we're not just gonna let you push us around. I talked about this like on the last podcast about how you can't let people push you around and like defending, and that's why people thought the Leafs were playing dirty or whatever. So yeah, I think it's good and it's over now. I don't think there's any hate towards Edler. I think do we play them again this season? I think we do.
I
At
think we
least
don't.
No, we
you
don't
think
play
we
them
don't?
again this
We
season.
don't play them again this season.
We have
Well,
Ottawa, then more Montreal, right? And then Winnipeg to finish the year.
yes. Wow, I can't believe there's only 4 games left. Jeez. Yeah,
Crazy.
so I think it's done. That second game there was literally nothing between Edler and anyone. So,
Paul, what are
liked
your
it.
thoughts? Yeah.
I liked it. I agree with Zach. And it's funny because Leafs Nation is so weird. Because if you remember, we were all like 2-3 years ago, man, we need someone to step up when our big players get hit. No one's touching anyone. When they hit our goalies, no one's doing anything. And then we finally get that in Simmonds. And Edler hits Hyman, one of our key players, out for a while. And Simmonds fights him the next game. And they're still complaining.
Man,
Like,
Edler,
what do you want?
Edler got destroyed. I wouldn't even call it a fight. He just stood there and took it.
Well, he deserved it.
yeah,
I liked
Edler
it.
is not a clean player either. I saw someone on Twitter posted a highlight package of Edler like
Yes.
hitting
He's-
people. I'm like 900 games is a lot, but some of those were pretty bad. So I'm like, okay, you deserved it.
I don't
That
know.
was like the 3-minute video, right? Of like
Yeah.
bad Edler hits, and everyone's like, yeah, Edler. They think Edler's not a dirty player; it's just a one hit.
I don't think he's a dirty player, but I'd say like he's not like clean. Like this was the first time he's ever hit
I'm
someone
also
suspect.
I'm also pretty sure he had a very big slash on Spezza earlier in the year. The same night Spezza got a hat trick.
Oh,
That rings
I
a bell. I
think-
can't picture it, but that rings.
I
a bell.
remember the Spuds.
I think Steve Dangles talked about that recently, where Edler's been pretty pesky against the Leafs this year, at least.
Who hasn't been?
That's true. Part of me likes Simmonds going after him. Part of me doesn't. Like, he kind of did serve it. You don't have to fight a guy who's not a fighter. I
Mhm.
get it. What I do like, though, is that it sends a message to the league and all the other teams watching, not
Mhm.
just to Edler in Vancouver. If you go after our players, we're going to come right back after you.
Yeah,
That's the
Agreed.
message I like to send out.
and that's why Winnipeg didn't expect that, and they got
Exactly.
pissed off.
Mm,
Yeah.
very true.
Rent free.
Okay. Speaking of pissing people off, the hockey world is in shambles this morning
Oh yeah.
because of what Tom Wilson did. Was it yesterday?
2
Last
days
night,
ago.
2 nights
2 days
ago?
ago.
If you didn't see the clip, just go on YouTube and search Tom Wilson. I'm sure it'll pop up right away. Basically, Cole's notes punches Pavel Buchnevich while he's down, face down on the ice. Whether he hit him in the head or the shoulder, he hit him when he was down on the ice. Good guy, Artemi Panarin comes in, jumps on Tom Wilson's back. Then Tom Wilson basically body slams him to the ice. Complete mismatch.
Mm.
Wilson doesn't get suspended. He gets a $5,000 fine. The Rangers come out with the statement. This is ridiculous. Repeat offender, calling out George Peros, who's the head of NHL player safety and kind of like the discipline side, saying he's unfit. The hockey world is in shambles. So 2 questions for you guys. 1, should Wilson have been suspended? And I totally lost my second question. So answer that one first and I'll follow up. Zach, I will relegate you to go first, or delegate.
Relegate
whatever
me
you
to
wanna
go
say.
first. Should he have been suspended? Do you want a short answer or a long answer?
Whatever answer you want to provide.
All right, write an essay. Bet. Short answer. I'll give you both. The short answer for that is yes. The long answer for that is not because he's a repeat offender, but I think based on what he did, I think that's a suspension. I know when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, suspend him the rest of the season. That's terrible. And then I rewatched the clip a bunch of times. I'm like, okay, I can kind of see. I still don't like it. I still think it's suspendable, but I don't think that's like oh my gosh, Tom Wilson just tried to murder the New York Rangers. I don't think it's that, but I do think it's suspendable.
Yeah, I agree. It is suspendable what he did to Buchnevich. 1 or 2 games for sure. With the Panarin incident, I mean, Panarin did step up to protect his teammate, which is what you want to see. But what do you expect? Like, it's such a mismatch between Panarin and Tom Wilson. Like, I didn't expect anything else to happen. I mean, I expected Panarin to get ragdolled.
Yeah.
So the Rangers fan base can't be surprised. They can be mad for sure. Like, I would be too.
We'd be pissed if that was Matthews or Marner. We'd be fuming.
Okay, Matthews would never get that. Marner probably.
Marner
be
would
fuming.
definitely get ragged.
We would be fuming.
Oh yeah, we would be so mad. Like Panarin's probably their best player, so I understand why they're so pissed off. But you gotta like, what do you expect when you fight Tom Wilson, who's 6'3", 220 pounds, and Panarin's not even close to that.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
So that's what I was listening to the guys at TSN on Overdrive talk about it. I think it was Jeff O'Neill who said
Yeah, I watched that
the-
too.
Buchnevich thing, that's the fine. He hits a guy in the head, whatever, face down the ice, that's the fine. Then Panarin jumps on his back. What do you expect him to do when someone jumps on his back? Can you suspend a guy for being 6'4", 220?
No.
If someone jumps on my back, I'm a small guy, so I'm probably in trouble. But if I'm not, I'm going to try to get him off me. So I saw people really overreacting. You know, he should be expelled from the NHL for life. All this kind of stuff.
That's
Kind of have to
crazy.
take a seat back.
Crazy.
Panarin could have been seriously hurt. He is out for the year, albeit it's only 3 more games. But he jumped on him. Like, I don't know what you expect.
I don't think
Yeah.
he meant to hurt Panarin when he was defending himself. It just happened that way.
I don't know. Once a guy's on his back, you kind of like fueled the fire a bit.
Yeah, I think
True.
Panarin
Like you are
definitely-
poking the bear to an extent.
Oh, absolutely. I do think so. I do think Tom Wilson has like that history of him just being a dirty player is definitely like in the minds of people. Like you hear Tom Wilson and you're like, oh, he must have been trying to kill him. He must have been. Now, maybe that Wilson was a little cocky afterwards, like standing in the box.
I love that part. That's the best part.
Did have
Oh,
his
yeah.
jersey on and he's like this, like,
Flexing.
and I'm like,
Macho
oh
Man
my.
pose.
For me, yeah, it was just like, okay, why? I wasn't watching the game, so I could be missing some context here. But I saw no reason as to why you needed to punch Buchnevich when he's face first in the ice. That's what I didn't like. I think the ragdoll of Panarin is unfortunate, but at the same time, he literally jumped on his back. You can't expect him not to defend himself, especially
Exactly.
someone that's used to being gone after by players on the other team. He's used to people coming after him. So if he doesn't go like 100%, he's going to get like Ryan Reeves. Like, do you guys remember those hits?
Yeah.
I think it was after the year that those two played in the final, like Reeves like destroying Wilson and stuff. So he needs to be prepared for stuff like that. So the ragdoll, I can't really blame him for.
Yeah. If you play with fire, you're gonna get burned.
Hmm.
However, I don't. The thing is, I don't think it should be Panarin who goes after Wilson, but I don't know who else on the Rangers would. And I know the 3 of us were joking, like, bring back D'Angelo for tonight's game. Let him go after. He's accustomed to throwing punches. He'll be fine.
If you remember Panarin in Chicago, Kane got crunched a couple of times, and Panarin was the guy that went after the other guy who hit Kane. So like, I wasn't surprised that Panarin went after Wilson,
Yeah,
and I'm
just
also not
crazy
surprised what
mismatch.
happened. Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah. So rematch tonight. Wilson's playing.
Very interesting to see if
I'm
the
gonna watch.
Rangers come back. Oh, I'm watching too.
They are gonna send everything they have at Tom Wilson, and I still don't think it's gonna go well for them.
Yeah,
no, it won't.
I
Tom
don't. I
Wilson's
don't
prepared.
think
Yeah.
so. I have a question for you guys. I'm gonna change it up. I never asked. this.
Ooh,
But do you think that George Peros is like, and the disciplinary committee on the NHL, like over the past season, 2 seasons, whatever, like I've seen a lot of people complaining on Twitter constantly for suspension length, for disciplinary, like, oh, they got it wrong. Do you guys think that like because it's a tough job, you can't please everyone, or do you think like maybe the NHL needs to shake something up?
Paul,
Ryan.
you go. Oh wow. Okay, I'll say both. You're not gonna please everyone, but I think the fact, like using this as our base example, the fact that Wilson is a repeat offender and that does play into suspensions.
Mhm.
I don't know how he doesn't get suspended. Panarin piece aside for the Buchnevich part. I don't know, like I'm sure it's not just George Peros sitting there making decisions because he's probably done a few of those things also in his career. But I don't know how Wilson doesn't get suspended. Are the Rangers wrong for calling for his resignment, for calling for him to resign? I don't know. Saying he's unfit. I understand, man. I would be pissed if that was me. If that was one of my star players, I would be furious.
I mean, as Ryan said, you can't please everyone, no matter what the decision is. there's always going to be a couple people that aren't happy with it. Like, let's say they did suspend Tom Wilson, then Washington would be pissed off because they'd be like, "That's not a suspension." Blah blah blah. There's no pleasing anyone. But in the last couple of years, if you look at some of the decisions that have been made with disciplinary action, it's been kind of garbage. Like, not gonna lie, like there's some incidents where people should be suspended, but they aren't, and incidents where it's like, oh, that's not a suspension, that's just a fine, but they've been suspended. So they have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? They have to be consistent with what they do. And it's not hard to see what's happening. And if the whole NHL community's together on something like, oh, that should have been a suspension, then I'm pretty sure they're not wrong. It's just, it is tough. The job is tough for sure to make those type of decisions. But at the end of the day, it's not hard to see what's suspendable and what's not.
100% agree with both of you. That was fun, Ryan. I see why you like doing this, like asking the questions.
You can take the show, man. It's all you. You can.
Oh,
call the
no. That 0 to 100 too quick. No.
All right. How about instead we throw over to your twin, Mullin MD, for the injury report. A few injuries, a few updates coming. So Mullin MD, welcome back to the potty.
Thanks boys for having me. Really interesting to see my brother kind of taking the reins on that question a little bit. It was kind of odd. Anyway, injuries for the Leafs for this past week. So Nick Foligno left Monday's game against Montreal with what the Leafs are calling an upper body injury, which was very weird because he was clutching at his leg when he left. And last time I checked, that's not the upper body. My degree taught me differently. So could be that, I know teams around playoff time really like to kind of keep injuries really secret, but that was kind of a little funny because I'm like, it's very obvious that that's not what it is. But he was not at practice today. So really hoping that it's not something severe. I didn't see anything. He just stopped really fast and kind of twisted. Maybe he tweaked his ankle a little bit. Maybe it was his knee. Really hope it's not something long-term because we did pay like a pretty big price to get this guy for the playoffs. We didn't get him to get for the down the stretch. We got him 4 playoff games.
Is that your medical opinion?
Yes, that is my completely medical and definitely not Leafs fan based opinion. Anyway,
just wanted to
clarify. In other Leafs injury news, who wrote this? Justin Holl ate a puck against Vancouver.
Who wrote this?
Come on, it's funny.
So he tried to eat the puck. It like bounced up in his face. The guy was hungry, like, not enough protein bars before the game. But yeah, it kind of looked like it hit him maybe in the nose, maybe in the mouth. It's hard to say. I didn't see any teeth go flying, so maybe it was the nose. Bleeding a lot. But he was at practice today with a full face shield, and I know Jake Muzzin is like sympathizing with him. Or if you guys remember, he had a face shield on earlier this season. Freddie Anderson takes part in full practice, which is a great sign for the Leafs netminder, looking like he will probably return possibly before the end of the season with 4 games left. Yes, and Riley Nash, who we acquired from Columbus, who was on LTIR, I believe, joined practice in a red non-contact jersey today. So very interesting to see if possibly he will make his Leafs debut before or during the playoffs. And that's it from Mullin MD.
What a guy.
Very nice. Very nice. Thanks for stopping by. A couple notes off that. I don't know if you mentioned, I was busy laughing that Justin Holl ate a puck. Hyman skated with the team today in a red non-contact jersey, and Stefan Nason possibly in the lineup.
Nice.
Should be interesting. He wore a game day jersey. Brooks was in a taxi squad jersey. Thank you, Zach, for that information.
Thank you, brother. Okay, I'm going to go now. I'll let my brother come back on.
Are you back?
I like Mullin MD better.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, what's up, Zach?
You like Mullin MD better?
Wow.
Oh, I didn't think you'd hear that.
Anyone who's listening to this for the first time is like, what the heck is going on?
I think I'm saying that too, and I've heard it a bunch. All right. crazy week. Lots going on. A good week nonetheless. And time to do what Leaf fans love to do is debate about the future. And that's
Yay.
exactly what we're going to do.
Yay.
So we haven't done a debate in a while. This is a pretty big topic amongst Leafs Nation. Here it is. Will Frederik Andersen be a Maple Leaf next season? Zach, start us off.
Oh man, I'm starting all the questions. This is great. It's hard to say. Really hard to say because Jack Campbell's play has been pretty fantastic this year in his first kind of like starting role. Although it is pretty surprise, it was kind of a surprise for him. Like he didn't come into the season expecting to be starting. I'm gonna say yes, which may be kind of a hot take on that. I think Anderson will be back. I think this year will probably be a good, for the Leafs anyway, it'll be good because that kind of brings his money value down a little bit. So yeah, he had an injury, but if he were to play this season and then had like a stellar year, like won the Vezina, I don't think he's coming back to Toronto. I don't think we could afford him. But now that he didn't play that much, maybe I could see him on a similar contract to what he had before. But I do think he might be a Maple Leaf next year. Maybe, possibly. No confirm. We'll see.
It
Maybe
is
kinda, sorta.
tough. It is tough. And I don't know if Ryan expected this, but I'm also going to say yes. I know Jack Campbell has been fantastic and we did acquire Riddick. Will Campbell's play be consistent next year? Will it be the same? Who knows? If I had to guess, I wouldn't think so. I don't think he'd be playing as many games. Obviously, Anderson was injured. With Riddick, it's a toss-up. But I think if Anderson comes back, it'll be a 1 or 2 year contract. I think it'll be like one of those, let's see how you do these 2 years, and then we'll give you your money sort of situation. Hopefully I want to see him come back. I guess that's why I'm saying yes, because I think he will help us a lot. I know people will say, oh, he's not a playoff performer. He's not this, he's not that. But if he comes back for the playoffs this year, that'll really show. And as Zach said, his performance this year has decreased his value, so we can afford him, if anything. So I'm going to say yes as well.
I'm on like parts of me agree with you guys. If I had to guess now, my answer is no.
Mhm.
He's not a Leaf next year. But there are a couple scenarios that determine this even more so. I don't think it's determined right now. So first scenario I'm thinking of is if Anderson doesn't come back from injury, doesn't play in the playoffs, he comes back as a Maple Leaf because he has been relatively injury prone throughout his career and his tenure as a Maple Leaf. I don't think any teams are going to spend a big flyer on a 30-plus-year-old goalie who's injury prone. Right? So if he doesn't play, he comes back. I think it's like a small 1-year deal. Like, be good, then he'll leave in free agency the next year. Second option is if Campbell struggles in the playoffs, then Anderson comes back. If Campbell is not good in the playoffs, we need Freddie. It's as simple as that.
Mhm.
Those are my two scenarios, but all things considered, if I were to say right now what I think he's not a Maple Leaf next season. I don't think Riddick is either. I think they bring in like a completely new goalie and have him tandem with Campbell.
James Reimer.
Huh.
I'm for it.
That's Zach's dream.
Dream the two nicest goalies in the league on the same team. Oh, come on.
Nicest guys on and off the ice.
Yeah. People won't even want to score against us. We're too nice.
Exactly. It's a perfect plan.
Yep, exactly.
All right. Moving on from our debate, time to play some Would You Rather. I know it's been a while. Wanted to bring back some old segments here. And this is, again, Leaf fans, what do? We like to debate, guess about the future, probably stupidly, but we're going to do it anyways. So would you rather, as the Maple Leafs, would you rather play the Canadiens or the Jets in the first round? And I'm going to start with Paul.
This is actually kind of tough. If this was a couple of weeks ago, I'd say Montreal like off the bat. But because Winnipeg has been so bad recently and they've been in a slump leading into the playoffs, that could be something that we could take advantage of. But if I had to say, I'd say I'd rather play Montreal in the first round. We've been playing well against both teams this season. I want to see that Leafs Montreal playoff matchup that everyone has been waiting for a long time. I guess that's why I'm saying yes. It's one of the main reasons, but also because I think we play better against Montreal. We know the stakes. Leafs Montreal battle. We're just full send all the time against them, and you've seen it this season too. Like Matthews plays fantastic against Price and Marner. Well, they play against everyone, but specifically like when we watch them against Montreal, it's like a different level of hockey, and I want to see that in the playoffs. I want to see the intensity. I believe we can really take it to Montreal a little more than what we could do with Winnipeg. They have a little more firepower, and if Hellebuck plays like Vezina Trophy Hellebuck, this could be a problem. So I'm gonna say Montreal.
True dat. that.
Yeah. Yeah, I am on the same page as Paul. I think I'd rather play Montreal. Because I think Winnipeg with a healthy and performing team is more of a threat than Montreal is. I think something that could have changed that this season was a healthy and performing Carey Price, because Price was kind of underperforming for them this season. It's been Jake Allen recently in the crease for them because wow, I can't think of his name. Carey Price has been injured. That's who it is. Not a Hab, well, he is a Hab, but anyway. Yeah, and I think that excitement is really there of playing Montreal for the first time. And I don't know if you guys remember, but in 2013, the Leafs had a chance to play Montreal in the playoffs. This was the year that we played Boston in the infamous, you know what that is. I'm not even going to go into that. But we played Montreal in the final game. Boston played Ottawa. We lost to Montreal. Boston beat Ottawa. And so we played Boston in the first round, and the Habs and the Sens met. If any of those situations were reversed, we would have played the Habs in the first round. And I remember being super excited to play Montreal and then being very disappointed we had to play Boston. So I've been looking forward to this matchup for 8 years. So please, Montreal, I don't want to play Winnipeg. I don't care about Winnipeg. Let's play Montreal.
All right.
Understandable.
I think as like not a Leaf fan, but a hockey fan, I would prefer to see Leafs Habs. Just the history, the stories. It's been, I don't know what, like 40 years since they've been in the playoffs, something ridiculous like that. Just to be different, I'll say the Jets. What are they, 2-8-0 in their last 10 games? That's possibly the worst time to go on a stretch like that right at the end of the season, going into the playoffs. They look very human, especially Connor Hellebuck. Their team confidence is going to have to be pretty low, I would imagine. So if they keep up this lackluster play going into the playoffs and finish in the 4th seed when they were pretty much locked into that second seeded team that everyone thought, I'll take it. I think both will be good matchups, but I'll take the Jets.
Did they say if Ehlers was going to come back for the playoffs?
That was the original statement. I don't know if there's been crazy updates, but they said he's out for the regular season.
Yeah, it'll definitely be something if he's not.
Yes.
And that could be helpful for anyone they play, really, because he's been such a big part of their team this season.
Yeah. And as a fan, you want to, like, you're the opposition, you want them to be healthy so you can beat them at their best. That's what it comes down to. But
if one of their players is injured, like, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, we're also being honest. As Leaf fans, we want to win. I don't care what it takes.
Yeah. Like
injured,
3/4 of your
it.
team can be injured. I really don't care. I just want to see a first round. Like, I want to see them get past the first round.
Yeah. Some stats for you guys. I feel like I haven't lived up to my statistician aura. This season, the Leafs are 5-2-1 against the Canadiens with a +5 goal differential. And we are 6-3-0 against the Jets with a +3 goal differential. So pretty even, like not far off either way. A difference of 1 point and 2 goals.
Not bad.
I think either way, we'll enjoy the playoffs, especially the first round.
Absolutely.
And we are going to stick with the trend of old segments. Here's another one we have not done in a while. Over under, except this one is not going to be about the Leafs. I think it's pretty obvious. We think Matthews will hit 40. But how about Connor McDavid? So he has played 51 games this season so far, and he has 93 points. Absurd. He's playing a video game. So 93 points, 51 games. That's a 1.8 points per game. He's almost at 2 points a game. That's ridiculous. So that puts him on pace for 102 points in 56 games. Over under, what are you going to take? 99.5. So you're going to take the over, he gets 100 or more points, or you're going to say under, he doesn't hit it. And I'll throw it to Paul again.
I'm going to say over. I think McDavid's going to do it. I have him in fantasy, but there's no point now because most of it's done our season. But I really think that he will get 100 points. 101 to be exact.
Wow.
We'll come back to this episode after that happens. The confidence is huge.
Big time confidence, Zach.
I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna say under.
I was gonna take the under to be different.
But I think he's gonna like get so close, and then he's not gonna make like 98, like 99 points. He's gonna be really close.
Joke City.
But yeah, the fact that he's there though in that conversation for a 100-point season
It's crazy.
is ridiculous.
Crazy.
It's wild. I'll take the over because he'll probably do it because it's McDavid.
That's facts.
I don't have anything else to say. Even the fact that he's already hit 93, if he doesn't play another game this year, it's still insane.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Who's second in points right now?
I think Mitch. No.
I think
No,
it's
I think it's
Draisaitl.
Yeah,
I think it's Draisaitl.
I think he has like
I think Mitch is third.
70.
It is
75.
Draisaitl. So McDavid is 93, Draisaitl 75, McKinnon 65, and then Marner is tied with Kane
Wow.
at 64.
So not
Damn.
including Draisaitl, who's on his team. So those two get like points together, goals and assists. Next is 65 versus 93.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
That's
And
actually ridiculous.
and it's McKinnon, who's one of the best players in the NHL.
That's facts.
Wow.
Damn.
This guy's got it on rookie mode. It's ridiculous.
It's not fair.
He literally does.
It's crazy. It's baffling.
It's actually insane how talented this guy is. Like, I don't think we'll ever see anyone as good as McDavid for a long, long time.
Could you imagine if the Edmonton had a good team around McDavid, how good they would be?
Man,
Like,
I don't even want to
oh,
think about
It'll never
that.
happen.
It'll never
It'll
happen.
never happen.
It
There's
probably
no way.
won't ever happen. Not like Ryan's probably like stating facts right now. Just their management's just so bad.
Should I
Like,
make a hot take right now?
yeah,
Insanely
Yeah,
hot.
absolutely.
McDavid never wins a cup in Edmonton and gets traded.
I was gonna say never wins a cup, but yeah, never wins a cup for
Wow.
the Oilers.
That's a hot take.
Oh, never wins a cup with the Oilers.
I'll correct myself a bit. I say I don't know. I feel like it's hard to bring in pieces around him when the pieces aren't there now.
And he's worth a lot of money.
But he's like, yes, but he's only worth what, $1 million more than Matthews?
Yeah, but it's Connor McDavid.
Right. He deserves it, but is it that much more? We're like, oh, you can't afford him. Well, or you can't afford the pieces to support him.
I guess you can. You just gotta find the right pieces.
I think
Another
they
hot
need
take.
goaltending.
I think Frederick Anderson goes to Edmonton if he doesn't go to Toronto.
Ryan's
no.
face. Put that on a t-shirt.
That was so. He was
Whoever
so
wants to see Ryan's
disgusted.
face, watch this episode on YouTube. It's the most disgusted face I've ever seen in my life. I don't think Ryan wants that to happen.
I'm all
I
for
don't want that to
self-humility.
happen.
You can exploit my ugly face as long as you want.
Whew.
All right, time for the week ahead. Not
Mhm.
obviously trying to change the subject. 2 games
Mm.
on tap between today and our episode next Wednesday, both against the Canadiens. We've got Thursday night, which is tomorrow, Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday night, both games at home. I had the correct prediction for this week of 3-0-1, so I will take the cake here and read your predictions for you because that's what I like to do. #power trip. Here we go. I have 1-0-1, so I have the correct prediction.
No.
Paul, you have 2-0-0, and Zach, you have 1-1-0. So I'll be nice and I'll let you guys defend your honor here. So Paul, why do you think they're gonna go 2-0-0?
Because I want them to go 2-0.
It's a good reason. Not gonna lie.
Flawless logic.
Yeah,
Flawless.
literally that's it. And honestly, like the actual real reason is because I want to play them in the first round, so I don't want them to get any points. So hopefully
Hmm.
Winnipeg can win some games and get a little bit of a step ahead on Montreal.
Okay.
Back.
I don't mind that.
As you know, if I ever predict anything good, it never comes to happen. It'll be bad. So I'm gonna go with 1-1-0. I think we'll split the 2 games with I actually do think we'll split the 2 games with Montreal. Really don't want us to go into overtime again because apparently Cole Caulfield will score every goal in his NHL career in overtime. So
Honestly.
That's how it looks
yeah,
like.
let's not do that again. But yeah, 1-1-0 for me.
All right, you heard it here first. One of us might be correct. None of us might be correct. But I can tell you for sure, 2 of us will not be correct.
Thanks, guy.
No problem.
Like in my head, I'm like trying to run. I'm like, what? How does that work?
Where is he going with
Where are
this?
you with there? Oh yeah, that was
How about not all 3 of us will not be correct either.
that would kind of suck because that would mean the Leafs
That would be
wouldn't win the game.
terrible.
They'd go
That's true.
0-2-0.
Let's
Or
not
Or
hope for that
1-0.
outcome.
Or 1-1. Sorry.
Yeah, it means they wouldn't win a game this week. Let's not do that. Let's
Yeah.
not think about that.
Yeah. No thanks.
All right, that's pretty much our time on the episode. If you made it this far, thank you very much for listening. We appreciate it a ton. You've given us, I want to say like our fans, like our motivation, 3 fans who want to talk about the Leafs. You've given us some motivation, something to do other than just scream at the TV when the game is on throughout the pandemic. So thank you.
If they want to see us do that, we can arrange that.
That is true. Maybe post
Interesting.
COVID, but
Yes.
I think we should do a little tease right now. For everyone listening, we are working on a couple guests to come on the podcast.
Oh,
So
Stay tuned to find out.
should we tease a little bit about the guests? I think so.
You can.
sure. Like, what do you mean by tease? Like
A little hint.
a hint? Oh,
Do
so
it.
they can guess who it is.
A Rupe hints, if you will.
Oh my.
I
That
hate
was
you.
so good.
Oh my god.
That was great.
I saw the smirk on Ryan's face and I knew something was going to happen.
That was good. Come on. Okay. Hint number 1 for one of our guests.
I thought you were going to say
Ex-member-
hints number 1.
There you go. Ex-member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hint number 1 for
That
one
narrows it down.
guest. Sure does. Hint number 2, someone who works at TSN. 2 separate people, by the way.
Yes.
There are your Rupe hints. Thank you for listening to Original 6, boys. 3 favorite words to end us off.
Go Leafs, go.
Go Leafs, go.
Go, Leafs, go.